Hello and welcome back to Mr. Sports, the only interesting sports podcast out there. I am Xander Frost.
I'm Andrew Lind.
And guys, we got a heck of an episode coming up for you right now. We are going to kind of wrap up some NFL news, make some conference championship picks, and then we're going to dive into a lot of interest and intrigue in the NBA, Andrew. We're going to dive into some of that.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where there's some pretty good storylines that have developed. We're not super far into the season, but far enough.
Pretty interesting start, I would say. The trades help.
What's weird, I don't know if it's probably bad, but what's weird is like every fucking game you have to look and see if it's going to happen and who's actually going to play, especially if you're betting.
Tough for fantasy too.
Yeah, because you're just like, oh shit, the Sixers are like underdogs, and then you look, oh, Embiid, but sometimes it's injury. There's just the added like protocol with normal injury, and it feels like people are resting more because the season is condensed. Or at least I hope, with like Embiid, where he just sat out 2 games. Was that like, this is a short season, let's get it going?
It's just going to be a weird season. It's going to be, honestly, it's going to be like last year too. Like the bubble was a little weird. The playoffs were weird. I think it's going to be weird. It's going to be a weird year. But that said, the best teams for the most part are rising to the top at this point. It's pretty predictable.
But it does start to feel like, because the season's shorter, it feels like there's a lot of teams that are starting slow, whether it be from COVID or just like reacclimation, but actually it's probably just from COVID, that are like, they need to eventually get together, right? Like the Heat or like the Celtics.
The Mavericks. The Celtics are playing pretty well.
The Celtics are playing well. I guess that Tatum had COVID, or he has it.
But I'd say the Mavericks and the Heat are not off to insane starts here.
Yeah, and it's going to get to the point where it's like, all right, we're like 40 games in now, because there's been this window of like, they'll get it together. It's kind of a weird start. It's basically the preseason.
Well, let's we're going to dive into that, but let's just talk about our conclusions here from the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. Andrew, the two of us did pretty well. Well, I was 3-1, and if Mahomes hadn't gotten hurt, I would have been 4-0 on my picks.
So was I 3-1 too, like on our picks?
No, you were 2-2 on our picks.
2-2.
Yeah.
I did end up, I waffled. I ended up betting on the Titans.
No, not the Titans.
I forget why.
That's the week before.
Who am I thinking of? The Bills. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I ended up betting on the Bills because I was like, something about the Ravens I just don't trust at all. And I was right. So
yeah.
I actually was doing really well this weekend until Mahomes got hurt.
That was tough. I mean, it certainly gave a compelling argument in a game like that to take, the team that's getting all those points. Because once something like that happens, catastrophic, you're like, can you imagine if you bet the Browns? It felt like by the fourth quarter you were going to win. Like, it was a matter of if the Chiefs could hold them off, not if the Browns would get close.
Yeah, because you basically knew they weren't going to cover. Like, that's what's fucking so annoying about gambling, is where the Chiefs, I'm like, Chiefs, no, we need to win by 9. Like, I don't know why you're running the ball right now. We need to at least go get a field goal. Let's do 8 and we'll call it even. So you get to that point where all of a sudden you're like, all right, I need a fucking like blown coverage, and then, Le'Veon Bell just runs for a touchdown.
There's no option other than just running it in for the touchdown, basically.
Like a weird pick six.
Yeah, so it was a fun weekend. Weird games, though. I would call a lot of those games weird, especially like the Bills-Ravens was weird. The Chiefs-Browns, those were just like not, injuries and chaos. The Rams game, too, felt a little bad, although ultimately I think Rodgers just overwhelmed the Rams.
Yeah, watching the Packers, I just was thinking like, wow, this really is their this is their Super Bowl to lose. Like, they have the best team. They have a run game. They have the passing game. Their defense is good enough. So I feel like if they don't win the Super Bowl, it's only because they fucked up somehow, or Mahomes goes. But it's just like no other team. I think maybe it's just the run game. It's like no other team has a passing attack, but also they have like 3 good running backs.
Yeah, and they bruise the defense too. It's like those guys pound. Those are tough runners, and they had some nice breakaway runs in that game, and you could tell it just opens everything up for Rodgers because the play action. I mean, people are biting on that every single time because they have to. It feels like.
Yeah, and he's locked in, and it was like, do you think Jamal Williams would start on every other playoff team?
Do you think on every other playoff team he would?
He's definitely starting over Singletary and
yes,
whoever is healthy for the Chiefs. Yeah,
and he would start over. Yeah, he would start over Le'Veon Bell or Edwards-Helaire. He would start on the what he started. I mean, he'd start over Fournette.
I mean, probably. Like, Fournette played pretty well, but I still didn't feel like he was that good. He had some drops.
But
it was just...
But Fournette's also the backup, technically.
Kinda, yeah. I don't know. Like, Ronald Jones is hurt, maybe.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, Jamal Williams is good. Obviously, we saw what Dylan can do. I mean, they got a nice squad. They got a real nice squad, and they're gonna let Eddie right? What's his name? Eddie Jones, right?
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones. Sorry, Aaron Jones.
Eddie
they're gonna
Jones,
let him walk. I'm thinking NBA, baby. We started to
save it.
Yeah.
Hey, save it.
Save it. I got a lot of Eddie Jones takes.
Nah, you're probably thinking Eddie Lacy though. Really.
I think I just mixed up. I combined Eddie Lacy and Aaron Jones. But Aaron Jones is going to walk. He's a free agent after this year, and they
have to. I mean, they have 2 other running backs. It would be absurd to pay him.
And Dylan's a rookie.
Yeah, I didn't know he was 250. He's like fucking huge. Yeah,
he ate the Titans in that game.
You talking about the old Titans game or the game that just happened?
No, the old Titans in the snow.
Oh, okay, I was like, are the Titans our de facto like?
No. In that game where they destroyed, he destroyed because Jones was hurt.
Yeah. You're right.
So, or he wasn't. He played, but he was in and out, and Dylan just ate their lunch. He outplayed Derrick Henry in that game. But yeah, it was a fun weekend though. Let's talk preview. So obviously we've got Packers Buccaneers, and that line is Packers -3.
This line has been like moving back and forth. I think it opened at 4. It went down to 3. It went back. I actually bet this today. It was -3.5 on the Packers even, which means it was probably headed right down to -3. I was like, maybe I should wait for -3 to get that point, but I was like, fuck it, even odds. I was like, I have to go Packers because they're just the Bucs really did not look that good. Like the Saints just were like begging them. They were like, how many fucking interceptions do we have to throw for you to put us away? And they still, it was like the Saints, I think, had 3 turnovers at one point. And I think
3 turnovers that turned into touchdowns. 3 turnovers that turned into touchdowns.
Yeah, but the amount of turnover, I was like, this game should be like 45-7. And they still had a chance until I think like that 4th pick.
I think it was weird because you do have to go like, well, Tom Brady didn't really get a chance to get going because he didn't have to. But because I thought coming out of the Buccaneers-Washington game, I was like, damn, the Buccaneers look good. That offense looks real good. And I was pessimistic on them out of the regular season. I thought they were a little overrated. Then the Saints game kind of brings them back down to earth. My gut is to take the Pack. I mean, my gut is to put money on the Packers here.
I don't see how you can't, like, if the Bucs do win, then some weird shit is going to have to happen, like in the same. But I don't see, like, Rodgers is not throwing 4 picks.
No.
And I thought Brady looked off. Like, I don't know. Like, he had some overthrows. Even that pass to Godwin. I mean, Godwin had some drops. Even that drop in the end zone was kind of like, it was like a tad long. I mean, I know it's easy for me to say. It's like, you threw it 35 yards down the field, but you needed to get it like a foot closer to Godwin. it wasn't like some easy catch.
No.
I don't know. It just seemed like
they were
getting bailed out.
I just think the Packers are good. I mean, the Packers are really good. The Rams' defense is a lot better than the Buccaneers' defense. And you watched that game, and it was Rodgers in his prime. Like, Rodgers, how about that pump fake?
Dude, and then running it around. That's what you forget. Like, what you forget. What one might forget. Maybe no one forgets this. I forget. I'm like, Rodgers can take off and
I
run
don't,
a
Andrew.
bit.
I don't forget it. Don't tell me I forget it. I don't forget.
No, you're
it.
right. I forgot. You don't forget, man. I forget that all the time. But
I'm an elephant with the sports. An elephant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can run.
I'm taking the Pack.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm gonna probably put some money on this game. To be honest with you, like,
just put a bit. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I just feel like I mean, unless you think there's some Brady magic. I mean, what I'm worried about ultimately is that Brady beats the. If Brady beats the Bills in the Super Bowl, I'll lose my mind. And there's part of me that's like terrified that like karmically that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that would be so sad.
That would be so if Brady like zombie Brady rises from the ashes and ruins the Bills season. But I'm taking the Pack.
It just doesn't feel like I mean, it's like they've made it this far through pure, like, I don't know-how of, like, Brady and stuff. But even, like, Gronk, he doesn't look... He looked like...
He didn't catch a pass till, like, I think the third quarter.
Yeah, they were, like, throwing old shit they used to do. But he got to be like, dude, I'm not that guy, Tom. Like, you can't just chuck it up to me, like, in the... I'm not getting it.
It's kind of crazy seeing him sort of... I know he was retired for a year, but, like... He's just not the guy he used to be. It's crazy how fast that happens because he's not that old.
No, his body is just a complete like nightmare of injuries. Being that big.
Maybe for being that big, and from like it's like the LeBron of it's like the effect where you're like going that deep into the playoffs every single year. Mm-hmm. How old do you think Gronk is?
29.
He's 31.
31. Okay. Must be lower than I think. I don't know. But still, yeah.
It's just all those playoff runs. It's like you're adding another season every couple of seasons. You know, that's a lot of wear and tear,
True.
especially at that level.
They were in the championship every year.
And yeah, so all right, we're both taking the Packers -3.
Wait, so real quick, didn't Gronk got drafted in like 2011, right? And didn't New England go to the AFC Championship has he only ever played up to the championship game?
Drafted in 2010, and he won 3 rings. Let's see. Let me see if I can. Patriots seasons. You might be right because Brady's numbers are insane.
I think I was reading that like since 2011, Brady has been in the conference championship every year, except last year. But Gronk was retired, so it's like every year Gronk's playing.
Brady's rookie year, they lost in the divisional round.
Okay.
They lost the Super Bowl the year after that, lost in the championship, won the Super Bowl, lost in the championship, like the AFC championship, rather.
Yeah.
Won the Super Bowl, lost the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl. Yeah. And then 2019 didn't play. So one season he didn't play in the conversation. The one thing you do have to a lot of those years they got buys. Almost every year they got a bye.
I think so. Every year you're right. Okay.
Yeah, the only year they got a bye every year. But
I guess not even body break. And I think he was injured 1 or 2. But it's just crazy that he's fucking every year he's played. He's like, I basically go to the championship game every fucking year.
It's insane. I mean, he's basically every year that if he's healthy, he's probably playing until there are like 1, 2, or 4 teams left is when his season usually ends.
Mm-hmm. Pretty nice life.
Pretty nice life. So, so that's crazy. That's a lot of wear and tear. But, okay, let's go to – then we got Bills at Chiefs. The line is Chiefs -3. Obviously, the big question is Mahomes here.
Is he going to play? I feel like if you have an inkling he might not play, you should just like load up on the Bills right now, because if that announcement comes out, then that line's gonna flip, right?
He's like gonna play. I think he's. I
can't imagine him not. They're gonna pull, even if he can't pass. I feel like they're gonna like, I don't know. They're gonna work some magic. The NFL.
I mean, I honestly, this is one that it's like dealer's choice, because if Mahomes really can't do it, then obviously you're loading up on the Bills. Mm-hmm. But
I don't know though. After that Henny, I mean.
Henny, baby.
Careful. Yeah.
Pop the Henny.
Yeah.
What did Mahomes tweeted? Anything is possible.
Anything is, yeah.
With the Garnett gif. Yeah, I mean, obviously rooting for the Bills here. I would probably put money on the Bills if Mahomes doesn't play. I would put money on the Bills. I think that's like safe.
But we're assuming Patrick plays. It's just weird that it's like he hasn't been cleared yet. I'm like, come on, it's Wednesday.
But it's not. I think it's a neurological thing, right? It's not a concussion.
Oh, for real? He looks scary. Like when he was trying to stand up, it was like, oh shit. He's like stumbling, could barely get up.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong on that. I think somebody was saying, maybe speculating that he's still in concussion protocol. We don't even know for sure if he had a concussion. So it's not clear, but he's still in the protocol. So really, honestly, don't have any idea what... I mean, we're not friggin' doctors. We barely know anything. We don't know anything about football.
No.
I feel like...
that sucks if he doesn't play. It's just like, fuck. I mean, this is the matchup that we were hoping for all season. Like, pretty much both of these.
On average, it takes 7 days. Like, the median is 7 days to get cleared. So, on average, he would not be cleared.
Come on. He's Patrick, though. He's not your average guy.
It seems like but, the thing you got to say is the NFL legitimately seems to be taking this seriously.
Concussions?
Yeah. I mean, they sat Lamar. They took Lamar out. They took Mahomes out.
True.
I mean, 2 of the top 5 names in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they took them out in crucial playoff games with their seasons on the line. I mean, you got to say, like, good for the NFL. Like, that they actually did it.
Yeah, I mean, and it would be bizarrely like a testament. If they truly hold Patrick out of this game, that would mean, like, all right, we're taking this seriously, because that's probably the last thing they want to have happen. It's like their marquee player.
The dude who's in every commercial. So, like, you're going to be reminded 3 times a commercial break that he's not there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for us to pick the line. If Mahomes plays, I feel like he's going to be great because he's amazing, and I just feel like he's going to be great.
Yeah, they were pretty locked in that game. It was weird how many field goals they ended up settling for. I don't know what happened, like, on all those drives. They just kind of stalled out.
Cruising, though. I mean, they were cruising until that Baker Mayfield, like, until that Higgins fumble, and like, which was obviously sucked for the Browns. But you were watching that game and you were like, the Chiefs are going to win this. The Chiefs are with Mahomes. They're much better. There was not a,
yeah, they felt in control. It was like helpless. The Browns are pretty helpless.
Yeah, and I wanted the Browns to win, but I was like, they're not going to. But then when he went down, everything changed, which is kind of a testament maybe to why you should be betting the Bills if Mahomes doesn't play. So I don't know. I kind of want to stay away from this. That
Henny pick was really fucking bad. I mean, it was like it was like a fucking punt.
I know. It would suck too because he was doing so well.
And when you see the ball get launched up like that, if it's like a good quarterback, you're like, what's gonna happen? Like, what's on the other side of this?
And I know. You're like excited. You're excited for the pan. There's nobody.
There's just a fucking Brown. The Brown was probably like, what the fuck? All right, thanks. He's like,
oh shit, was it 4th down?
Yeah, like, oh man, do I have a concussion? I'm like,
my dad. I was watching it with my dad, and he was like, he was doing so well.
That's why he had to run. Dude, he ran his fucking ass off on that third down because he was like, they will not remember that pick.
Well, once he did that run, that run on fourth down, now he's a hero. Now it's, you know.
And then the pass. That was such a great, like, that was just such a great call, like, where it's obvious they're, like, gonna try to draw you off sides just randomly with, like, 5 seconds left hiking it. Because you know the Browns defense was like, I'm not gonna jump. It's all good.
We don't give enough credit for like how dope Andy Reid is. Like, what a freaking badass. Like, for all those years, it was like he's not club. That dude makes awesome choices. He makes just sick choices that are so fun for football.
Yeah, now you just wonder, like, now that he has Mahomes and Mahomes already looks like maybe the greatest fucking quarterback ever, and you're like, wait, was McNabb actually kind of trash and like? If he had a better quarterback, they would have like been winning super because they were in the NFC Championship 4 years in a row, 5 years in a row.
I mean, the thing about the Chiefs and about Andy Reid is that they've been pretty good every year.
Oh,
like every year, like with Alex Smith, like year after year after year, and the fact that he ended up. Can you imagine? Behind the scenes, what Andy Reid was saying that rookie year when Mahomes wasn't even playing yet behind Alex Smith. Like, can you?
Think he knew?
Yeah.
He didn't play him though. He didn't play him.
No, but I mean, it worked out perfectly. I mean,
yeah, it really did.
Can you imagine behind the scenes Andy Reid being like, "Oh my God, I have the greatest quarterback. I have the greatest quarterback in the whole world sitting here, and I'm gonna ride him for like 15 years. I'm never gonna get fired. He'll never get fired as long as Mahomes is good, and he's good. He's not gonna get. They already won. Yeah. They're already good. They're back in the conference championship. Like they're going to be good for the foreseeable future.
How old is he though? He might like have a heart attack or something. I get a little worried about him.
Did you know? Did I tell you? I believe I saw him riding a motorcycle on Vine Avenue in L.A.
Really?
I'm like 95% sure it was him. He's from Echo Park or Silver Lake.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. I think the school by my house. John Marshall High or whatever. I think when you pass it,
that's
like
where he
Andy
went.
Reid High School.
That's where he went.
Okay.
He's from, I think it's either Silver Lake or Echo. It's east side LA.
So we're talking the barrio?
No, I don't think. He's from
East LA.
No, he's not East LA. I'm saying like East. Sorry, like East. Just let me be clear. East side of Hollywood.
East Hollywood.
Not boy. We're not talking Boyle Heights.
Okay.
Andy Reid, Silver Lake. I'm pretty sure it's Silver Lake. Yeah, Los Feliz in Silver Lake.
Man, he makes $10 million a year. He's doing pretty well. I mean, where does he live now? I guess Kansas City. I don't know though. Do you live where you're? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I'm saying anyway. I'm pretty sure because I saw him and I was like, "Is that fucking Andy Reid?" And I was like, "No, that's that's just another guy that looks like Andy Reid." And then I googled him and I'm like, "This is where he grew up." I'm like right next to where he grew up, so it's not. I'm sure he still has a place in L.A.
You're not Andy Reid. You're just some wannabe that looks like him.
He's 62.
Okay,
so he's got.
That's not that old. That's not that old.
No. I mean, he's got like 5-10 years probably left.
I think so.
Yeah, he's awesome. I love him. Did you see him like give Baker Mayfield a pat on the head on the way? I like seeing how getting an insight into the relationship between like opposing coaches and players and stuff. It's always interesting to me.
I didn't see it. I do get moved weirdly sometimes with like good sportsmanship where I'm like, yeah, it's bigger than the game. We're still buds at the end of the day. Although I guess it's fun when people are like hate each other too.
So what's our picks here? I am gonna take the Bills. I'm gonna take the Bills. I have to. I can't possibly.
Yeah, I mean,
so
or you could just Bills emotionally hedge though. You know, you take the Chiefs and then
no hedge.
Well, I'm taking the Chiefs. I mean, I can't.
I mean,
sorry.
It's possible that pays off really well for you.
I mean, the Bills like really have not been that impressive in their team.
Oh yeah, that's it. They have had two ugly games.
Yeah, it's like the first one you're like, okay, maybe first game jitters, but after the Ravens game, it's like, man.
But that's why I'm feeling like I don't know. One of my best friends growing up is like a level of Bills fan where like this guy's weekends have been ruined by the Bills consistently for 25 years, like that level of Bills fan. And he does not think that the D-backs on the Chiefs can cover. He's very optimistic about how the offense is going to show out against the Chiefs. And he's normally very pessimistic.
It could. The Ravens did have a good defense.
So, yeah, they have some good D-backs. They have their defense is just pretty solid as a whole. I'm hoping the Bills have a nice pretty game left in them because
maybe good high scoring. I don't know who's going to stop the Chiefs on like the Bills, but
Bills defense showed out. Bills defense showed out against the Ravens.
They did stop Lamar pretty well. He did not run all over them. I was pretty surprised.
He ripped off a few nice runs. Mm-hmm. I will say, when you're rooting hard against the Ravens, like Lamar is scary. There's not a lot of guys like Lamar that can so quickly break off 20. Like you think that everything's good, you got him he's back there, like everybody's covered, and then he's gone, and it's a first down. It's kind of
especially on third down. That's what the Saints were doing. Saints were converting so many third downs, and it was just like, God fucking damn it. Just stop. They're not that good. They just 7 yards, first down. All right. It was like
so you're taking the Chiefs -3. I'm taking the Bills +3. This will be a fun one, and we're both taking the Pack. This is going to be a fun weekend. I feel really good about the Packers. Well, fingers crossed that the Bills pull this out. All right, so really quick, one more NFL topic here. Deshaun Watson. So a betting site known as betonline.ag, they have verified on Twitter. You're the one that sent me this. They have Deshaun Watson's. What will be Deshaun Watson's next team? So the odds are Panthers +600, Dolphins +650. Falcons +700, Jets +750, Broncos +800, Raiders +800, Saints +800, Bears +900, Patriots +900, and Niners +1,000. So surprisingly, and for you, I know you're happy. Panthers, they're saying, are the favorites.
It feels good just to be mentioned with all those other great teams, just be nominated.
But, make sure you got to thank God. Thank God, dude.
Yeah, without him, none of this would be possible. Or her. Yeah. It is crazy. I mean, it's pretty much just every bad team that really needs a quarterback is on that list.
Some of these I'm like, how? I don't know. We'll see.
Deshaun has a no trade clause, so it's like the idea that the Jets, I mean, coming off a shittily run organization like the Texans, I don't think you're like, yeah, let me go to the Jets for some like good in-house stability.
I'd kind of want to bet this because I think you can off the top eliminate the Jets. You can eliminate probably
the Bears.
I mean, well, maybe not the Bears. I think you can eliminate. I would not think he's going to the Panthers or the Jets.
Wow.
Why would he go to the Panthers?
He's from Georgia. He went to Clemson. It's like right by. It's in Carolina, dude. We have a good offense. We're probably losing Samuel, but
you have Robbie Adams,
Moore. We got
Moore.
Robbie.
You're right.
We got McCaffrey. Unless they traded like McCaffrey, but I don't know. Like we have an offense set up for him, and like
no, you're right. You're right.
Coaching staff,
you're right.
New general manager, and like an owner that's willing to like do what it takes.
No, you're right.
Owner's pretty cool.
I'm hating.
I get it, but I wish we didn't lose. You know, I wish we didn't win that one game against Washington. We'd have the number 3 pick right now. Now we have number 8, which I don't know if that'll come back to haunt us, but it'd be nice to say, here's the number 3 pick. And
I feel like the Falcons with Deshaun. I don't know if that makes sense because Matt Ryan's not that bad.
He's not. He's just older. I mean, but at the same time.
No, but I'm saying like in terms of like how much better they will be next year. If I'm Deshaun Watson, I feel like there's warning signs in Atlanta that there aren't necessarily like if he goes to the Panthers, they can improve like 5 wins, like 4 wins, like
yeah.
And I don't know about on the because they're going from Bridgewater to Deshaun Watson, whereas Ryan to Watson. Obviously, Deshaun Watson's a lot better than Matt Ryan, but it's not that market an increase.
Yeah, but you have weapons there like Julio and Ridley.
Yeah, but Julio's had his share of injuries, and Julio's not that young anymore. If
then
you were
can
Deshaun,
trade
what
Ryan.
team would? Yeah,
if I was
but
Deshaun.
who wants Matt Ryan that's going to give you a pass catcher?
Well, you could just trade him for like a pick or something in draft.
Fine.
I mean, there's so many good receivers in the draft.
That's true.
But I'm assuming if you trade for Watson, you're going to lose like a few top picks. Maybe then you can trade Ryan, like get in the middle of the first round. I think someone would trade a middle first round pick for Ryan. If you're like the Colts, you need like Matt Ryan. I think
the speculation with the Colts is that it's Stafford is who they're going to go after.
Okay, I like Stafford, even for like the Panthers. Like getting a quarterback in there because clearly
Stafford's good.
Not. Yeah, Stafford's good. If I was Watson, I'd probably want to go to the Niners.
That would be sick.
They have the defense. They got a good O-line. If they bring Williams back, they got Shanahan coaching. They don't really have weapons like that. I mean, they got Kittle. You can get receivers though, especially if you want to. I don't know. There's some good free. They don't have a ton of space, and they have to re-sign Trent Williams. They have to re-sign that linebacker. What's his name? I'm blanking, but
being in the Bay Area, pretty nice too. Financial, like you can maybe work some business opportunities and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the other ones like Broncos. Obviously pass friendly, but I don't know why you'd really want to go to Denver.
I guess Denver does have a ton of weapons.
Yeah, they do. They have a lot of receivers.
Yeah,
they have a lot of. If you look, they have a lot of guys that can catch the ball on that team. Like you're like, why do they have this many receivers? Like, why?
It's kind of dumb. They drafted KJ Hamler in the second round.
Yeah, I know.
Right
Hamler.
after
I was like,
Judy.
they got KJ. It's like and Jerry Judy, and they still have. They got like three other guys. What's his name? Gosh, I'm blanking. Who I took in like the third or fourth round, and he was out the whole year.
Oh, dude, I know what you're saying though. They have another receiver. I don't know what happened to Jake Butt. He just never panned out, huh? Tim
Cortland Sutton.
Cortland Sutton. Tim Patrick was pretty good.
Yeah, they got too many guys. But
dude,
I mean,
what the fuck? They should have the best offense in the league.
But they don't have anybody. They don't have anybody throwing the ball. So I look. I don't know if I would probably say if I were Watson. I know it's what he's rumored to want, but the Dolphins pretty good fit. Good coach, good organization. Just that's a good fit. Plus, you're in Miami. Who doesn't want to play in Miami?
Yeah, no income tax or whatever. No state income tax.
That's right. Anybody can come in and get that
foundation.
COVID vaccine. He might be thinking about that.
Yeah. They have a coach and they have a black coach. I think that matters to Watson. Like he wants him to get Bieniemy. It's weird. Like now, if you're a coach, you probably don't want to go to the Texans. It's such a mess.
Nobody is there a sports city that has had a worse 18 months than Houston? Between the Astros being completely disgraced, the Rockets completely imploding and Harden forcing his way out, with Fertitta being the worst owner in the league, and then the Texans, who are arguably the Texans are in the worst shape of all three of those teams.
Yeah, it's weird. It's almost like they not that they have to trade, but it's like they've given up so many assets that they almost need this reset of trading. But it's so hard to get another quarterback. Honestly, if I was them, I would just be like, we're not fucking trading you, man. You can sit out. You can never play football again, or I don't know.
They might do that. I mean, but it's PR will be hard. I mean, that Hopkins trade is unforgivable. I mean, leaving Bill O'Brien in charge of that team, all of that was. It's kind of funny that Bill O'Brien has skated out of there, and we're not talking about the fact that he's the reason why this team is such a mess.
Just such a bad GM. I feel like Bill O'Brien was not a terrible coach.
No, he wasn't. But they gave him. You don't give him all the power. Look what happened with Thibodeau, like Doc River. It just doesn't work.
It never works.
You can't give. That's too many jobs.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
anyway.
So if you had to pick one place where you think he's going to go,
if I was actually going to bet,
yeah,
I'd probably bet the Dolphins. Just because it seems like it makes sense, and they have the assets, especially with Tua. Because if you can trade Tua, you don't need to give up like 5 for. It's like if you're the Panthers or the Jets, like Tua actually offers you like the reset. You do Tua
something right now,
yeah. But on the flip side, it's like unless you really don't believe in Tua, I mean, it is nice to have a rookie under contract for the next 3 years versus Deshaun is good, but you are gonna have to start paying him like 35-40 million a year, which sucks if you could pay Tua 10 and then you get 2-3 other players. But what are the chances? I mean, Tua looked pretty fucking bad. I don't know, the chances he'll be as good as Watson
are low.
Yeah, I mean, Watson's probably the second best quarterback in the league, right?
I don't. You think he's the second best quarterback in the league? I think he's up there. I think he's like top 5 or 6. But Mahomes.
I'd just take Mahomes. I'd say Rodgers may be better, but
Mahomes,
if you're gonna build a
Rodgers,
team, he's too old.
Josh Allen.
If you started a team right now, you would take Allen over Watson.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty close.
It's close. I would say Watson gives you like, and not to say that Josh Allen is a fluke, but what Josh Allen did this year, like Watson has done that like 3 years in a row.
Watson's great. Watson's amazing. I mean, yeah, I guess the other ones would be like Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, Watson, Josh Allen. That's like the top.
I guess to me his age is just a good fit because he's so young. Like even Russell Wilson, I think he may be a little bit better than Russ. I don't know. It's close, but Russell's like, 31.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. It's a really good point. I guess I put him at 3. I'd probably put him at 3 behind. I'd still right now take Rodgers and Mahomes, and then I do think Josh Allen's been great this year. I think he's been.
You're right. And as an asset.
And he's young too.
You would
They're
take
both young.
Watson over Rodgers. Maybe Allen. It'd be Allen, Mahomes, Rodgers, or Allen, Mahomes.
Yeah,
Watson.
They're elite. Watson. The point is, Watson's amazing, and if you're a decent team, if you're the Bears and you pick up Watson, everything changes. So I think that the bidding war will be insane on this. You would give up a lot of firsts. You would give up a few. You'd give up a lot to get. That's what you dream about.
But that's like the double-edged sword of like. Now you've traded for Watson, then are they now the new Texans because you gave up all this shit? So you have to go to a team that's more or less ready. That's why a team, even like the Panthers, like their O-line is not that good. It's like, do you have enough? Like the Dolphins and the Jets have enough other first-round picks where you're like they can still build around him,
unless the Texans do something stupid, which is possible. Man, trades in football, superstar trades in football are so hard. It's not like
the dead cap and all that. I don't get the dead cap thing. To me,
I don't understand. It's just in football, it's like they just don't happen that often. And like in the NBA, you can rock and roll with like 3 dudes, as we're about to see in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. Whereas in the NFL, you have to fill out your roster. Like you can't mortgage off the next 3 years for one dude the way that you can in the NBA. It just doesn't work like that. And I think that's why when's the last time we saw a stud quarterback traded? Can you even remember a time?
Like a straight up trade?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a joke one. I'm like, well, when Jameis went to, I don't know.
Was Peyton traded to the? No, he signed, right?
Signed, yeah, he signed as a free agent.
Yeah, see, that's my point. It's like very rare. It's just very rare because in order to make that trade happen, you have to give up all the assets that would make you want to have the quarterback. It's just
plus the team just never would. They're like, we have a stud quarterback. We're never fucking trading you.
That's how bad the Texans are that's how bad the management is there. That's actually on the table.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on from the NFL. Very, very exciting times in the NBA as well. Obviously, we've got Harden on the Nets, Andrew. Any quick reactions from you?
Well, something dawned on me when I watched pretty much that whole Bucks-Nets game, and a couple things dawned on me. One was like, I never really thought about it, and maybe it's an overreaction, but Harden is like definitely better than Kyrie, right? Like it's really not.
Yes.
It's really not him and him coming on to Durant and Kyrie's team. And I don't want to seem like a Kyrie hater because I think Kyrie's like fucking amazing at basketball, but Harden is like has been proven you can build a team around him that can win a championship based on his own skill. So I was kind of like, damn, really Kyrie's going to be their third guy, right?
I agree.
And they look good. I mean, Durant and Kyrie just look so good with each other because they're both big and just like, I don't know.
You had Harden taking open spot up threes.
Yeah. And Joe, what's his name? Joe Harris? I'm going to say Joe Adams, the old.
Joe Harris, UVA, baby.
He's open all the time. But the thing, when I was watching the game, it was funny. And I'm sure this will change maybe because it was one game. But I like to like kind of pretend to overreact. It's like, that was like Harden's team down the stretch. Like Durant was barely getting the ball. Like the last 4 minutes, because I started tracking it because I was like, oh, this is pretty funny. Like there was only 2 plays where literally it was kind of like, all right, he like passed it to Durant when the play started. It's like, all right, we got to get Durant involved. But pretty much every time down the floor, it was like Durant was standing off, and it was like
I think Durant's
Harden
washed.
Offense.
Joe Harris is the second banana on that team. Joe Harris is number 2.
Yeah, no, I was just like, I mean, hopefully because I don't want them to succeed. Like I want the Lakers to win. I was like, is this going to be an issue? Like, is KD going to start to be like, what's happening? Like, I'm the best player on this team.
We're in that honeymoon phase, and he's definitely Durant's definitely like, you're gonna let Harden get comfortable. You're gonna let Harden sort of let it all hang out.
And he looked good, and that rebound he had, and then he kicked it back to Durant, and you hit Durant at the fucking top of the 3-point. It's going. That's like his spot.
Okay, I just wonder how this is going to work. So you're going to have to stagger Kyrie, right? You're going to want Kyrie on the floor. Whenever Harden's off the floor, Kyrie's got to be on the floor, right?
Yeah, which is good in a way. It's like for 48 minutes, you're going to have Harden or Kyrie.
Yeah. So like, if Harden plays what, like 35 minutes, obviously that'll probably be more in the playoff game, but whatever, 35, 30. So that means that's giving you, 12 minutes of Kyrie on the floor with maybe a little Durant. That's pretty dope to have Kyrie like working the other team's second unit. Like that is,
yeah.
That's
but if you're
awesome.
Kyrie, are you going to start to be like, I'm not trying to be basically like a glorified 6-man.
Well, this is what, and I've gotten in some arguments with our friends about it. I just don't understand how it's going to work in crunch time because Durant is so dope. Durant and Harden can coexist, but Kyrie needs the ball. Have we ever seen Kyrie play well off ball consistently?
I mean, he's kind of off ball with LeBron, right? It was like LeBron running the offense.
Yeah, but he was cooking a lot. And it wasn't
and he
LeBron.
Was the second option to cook.
LeBron, and it wasn't LeBron and Harden and then him. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Oh, that would have been fucking dope.
Because it's almost like you're thinking like Durant is like, but Durant is going to need the ball too. Like, I feel like Durant, as we saw in Golden State, Durant doesn't need, Durant doesn't need the ball to, like, you can dump it off to him with 7 seconds left on the shot clock, at the elbow, and he can go to work and he can get you that ISO bucket elbow. But I just don't know how it's going to work necessarily, because especially because a lot of Kyrie is like, it's like a lot of like dribbles on the at the arc and like going to work on dudes in crunch time. And Harden, what's Harden gonna do during that? He's just gonna stand around.
Stand there. I mean, I guess he can spread the floor because if he's like, you have to honor him. Being on the side, like if he does get it kicked out, he can just like drain it. So I don't know, but yeah, they're gonna have to weirdly take turns. I mean, I feel like in a perfect world, they could just trade Kyrie, honestly, for like.
That's what I'm saying. If you wouldn't you rather have Kyrie, Durant, Harden, Harris, I guess DeAndre, and then whoever's running your four, like, and then like a stretch four who can play defense, like that's your optimal lineup, in my opinion.
Yeah, because it's going to be a problem when they face the Sixers. Like Ben Simmons is elite. Like I'm not saying he could stop KD, but they have somebody to match up with KD, and they got Thibault, who could lock down one of them hypothetically enough, but they don't have anybody that can stop Embiid. Like DeAndre's not fucking doing anything.
Yeah, but Embiid is gonna, on the offensive side of the ball, the Sixers can't. I mean, Embiid's gonna have to go for 45, 50 points a night in that series.
Yeah, but this could be the year. I'm just like that could happen. Like Embiid is playing super well, and if Seth,
I wish Embiid had helped so bad on the offensive end.
It just sucks it just really sucks. I don't know why my shoulder's doing this. Like, once you really remember what Harden can do, it's just like Philly should have fucking made that trade. There's just Ben Simmons. They were never gonna give Harden to Daryl Morey. Dude, I don't know. I think, yeah, maybe, but I wouldn't have given up what they gave up if I was Philly, even like without Simmons. But like Simmons will just never be what Harden can do for a team to me. Like it's just a night. Like there is a ceiling. Even if I mean Simmons will never be able to shoot. If he can't shoot, he's not going to get there. And he can still be a great player, and it's weird, but he's not going to be like a top 10, like top 5. He has to be able to shoot. Unless his defensive impact becomes so astronomical, I guess that's the route. But I know, but that's never. I mean, he's basically his ceiling now. Like it's like a like Draymond Green. Like if he's just a lockdown defender who can pass really well. He's got a better offensive game than Green, though. Yeah, he does. But like can't shoot, like a better Draymond. His handle, yeah. But he'll never be top 10 like how he – because even if you watch – and I haven't watched a ton of their games, but a lot of his assists are like in transition because if you – that's where he's the best. And it's like that doesn't happen as much in the playoffs, right? The shit kind of slows down. And once you're in the half court, you just have this guy that maybe if he was like a bizarre 5 on a team, he could be like a big 5 like – you'd want him on you want him on like a run and gun team with like a bunch of shooters. Yeah. Like running the fast break. Like some version of the old Suns or something with him running the floor. But all right, let's keep it moving. So, I wanted to talk about how the Grizzlies with Ja Morant back now, healthy-ish. He's played 5 games. He's got 22.6 points a game, 7 assists, and the Grizzlies, watch out after everybody being like, oh, maybe down year for the Grizz. 7-6, still no Jaren Jackson, and still no Justice Winslow, who theoretically should both be back this year. Are the Grizzlies for real? Is this the start of something big here? I mean, I think it sucks. Triple J is still hurt. I don't know what's happening with him for them to like truly compete. I think they need him back. And I'm not saying they would contend for a title, but it's starting to feel like Ja Morant. Granted, he was hurt, but I think I was telling you earlier, like he's becoming a guy that's like you make the playoffs with him on your team. Like, yeah. And let me correct myself. Justice Winslow, I didn't realize that he's done for the year. Oh, he is.
So
I don't
he's
know
not
if he's
coming
like
back.
integral to like what they're doing.
No, but I think they were hoping he would be. But
Jaren Jackson is.
Jaren Jackson is. He's going to be back. He said sooner than you think. I agree. I mean, Morant. That's what he said.
See.
That's what he said. Sooner than you think.
Well, I thought you were going to be like now. I don't know what you mean.
No. So I mean, on your point about Ja, I agree. He's so fun to watch. He's like super competitive, super talented, and the Grizzlies. If you look up and down the roster, a lot of like competent players. You know, like Valanciunas and Kyle Anderson, Dylan Brooks. Like they have a lot of guys that can actually play basketball, and I feel like you are like nobody really wants to come up against Ja Morant, who's building the legend in the playoffs either. Like,
yeah, you could have his like Luka moment.
Yeah,
maybe he goes toe to toe with Luka, and he's like, not so fast.
I mean, Luka's got to get to the playoffs.
That's true. In the play-in game.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll tell them.
So, so the Grizzlies have won. They've won quite a few games in a row here. Let's see. They've won. Hold on. They've won 5 games in a row, and Grayson Allen is balling out in those games too. He had he's 16 points, 12 points, 20 points, 7 points, 10 points. He's got in those games 6 rebounds, 7 rebounds, none, 2, 4. Like, so Grayson Allen getting a little run and they're winning.
Yeah, I think he had like the game-winning 3 or something a couple days ago.
The 5 teams they beat: Suns, Sixers, Wolves, Cavs, Nets. So they beat 3 good teams there.
Those are pretty good teams. I think the Sixers didn't have Embiid, but it was still That was Ja's first game back. And that was like Ben Simmons' chance to prove, they don't need Harden. And
would you rather have Ja Morant or Zion Williamson?
Yeah, I don't know, man, because watching Zion is like, I don't know if I'm overreacting. It's just not the same. It feels like they're like afraid to let him do too. And he has plays where he's just so big, but he doesn't feel like the same explosive guy already. Or maybe he's being smarter about that, but he just feels like he gets a very boring like 22 and 10. I mean, it's not, but he makes a couple of crazy plays, but it's a very like 2 points here, 2 points there, get the rebound. I don't know.
I'm just worried about his body. Like,
he's just so big.
He's so big. When you look at him, you're like, this dude does not seem real. Like, he's a cartoon character a little bit.
He does just move people, though, which is insane. Like, just in the paint, it's like, you're not trying to fuck. It's like, just dunk, dude. Fuck, man.
Maybe this is dumb, but I would take Ja. Ja's already produced. Zion could still be like, end up being one of the best players in the league, but right now, Ja is producing right now. Like last year and this year, he looks good. I don't know. I would take Ja.
And it's just weird. Yeah, it is weird how all of a sudden it feels like Zion, it seems way less likely on his trajectory he would be like a top 5 player.
I know. Isn't that insane?
Because he can't really shoot. It's just like, if anything, he'll just be this kind of brooding, like, power forward.
Brooding, emotional.
I don't know. Yeah, brooding. I don't know what the fuck.
Sort of like
be sad.
Like a Batman of power forwards.
Like, we see you, Zion. We know it's, come on. He's like in the Batman suit. You're like, dude, you're obviously Zion, and no other human being looks like that.
That's he's gonna end up moonlighting as a crime fighter in New Orleans.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, let's see, this guy's 6'8", he's like 300 pounds, but he's fucking okay. I'm guessing you're Zion.
I could be Nicolo Melli. I could be Nicolo Melli. I could be
Nicolo Melli looked good. I was watching.
Yeah, he does.
But he does look good a lot.
All right. So Mavs are not off to the start a lot of people thought they'd have. Mavs are 6-7, currently 10th. They're in a nice little play-in game territory there. They do have a positive point differential, but it has not been what people expected so far.
Yeah, I mean, Porzingis just came back. It doesn't seem like that's made a huge effect yet. I don't know. They just kind of have a weird. I got to assume they'll like get it together. Luka's kind of doing some empty stat line type of like. Does it feel like he's like filling up the stat sheet, but it's not really translating?
I would probably. I'm not. They'll put it together, and if you look, so many dudes are getting run. Like if you watch that team, Carlisle is playing so many different guys.
They're just trying to figure it out.
Yeah. All right. Like obviously, some of these guys haven't played that many games, but they have the number of players who in games they played have averaged double-digit minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 guys on that team have averaged double-digit minutes.
So they just have no idea.
Yeah, and that does not include Boban, who's at 7.5 in games he's played. So,
well, there you go. Like, that's why they're fucking losing.
They got to play more Boban. But so they're working it out, and I think this year of all years is a little. I think they're teams. It might be smart to spread it around, not run anybody into the ground, try a bunch of different looks. You never know when you're going to lose a guy to COVID. You never know when you're going to, it's just such a crazy year. It kind of makes sense. And the fact that there's a couple more spots for the playoffs. I mean,
yeah, you got to figure they'll get in the play-in game. The Spurs are 8-6, which is fucking shocking.
Hilarious.
But
hilarious.
It makes
hilarious.
sense.
Hilarious. The Spurs are the 5 seed.
Like, what is happening there? I gotta feel like them and the Trailblazers are about to fall off with all the Trailblazers.
I don't know. I mean, Derek White hasn't even been playing
on the Spurs.
Spurs.
I know, but like, come on. Like, what? I hope so. I'm not trying to see them in the playoffs.
I read an article about how DeRozan has basically like reinvented his game.
Really?
Yeah.
What's he putting up this year? I like DeRozan. You were hating on him a couple weeks ago.
Well, I like DeRozan too, but there's a reason why DeRozan's not carrying your team to a champion. I mean, so he's been way more efficient, 20.7 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 7.1 assists.
Damn.
He's
the whole package. DeMar.
I mean, he's playing a lot better.
Triple D. I didn't know his middle name was Darnell.
Keldon Johnson has been the revelation for them this year. So Keldon, what?
Keldon, okay. Tell me.
Keldon Johnson, he's playing. So he was drafted 2019, end of the first round, and he's averaging 14.2 points. He's shooting 47.7%. I mean, 7 rebounds a game. He's playing really, really well, and you do start to wonder. Like, I think maybe people were a little unfair, and that developmental staff is still really good because he's playing well. Yeah. Murray's playing well. Lonnie Walker is starting to play. He's not been efficient, but he's playing at least.
I don't
know.
I
mean, those are like Lonnie Walker's 22, Keldon Johnson's 21. I mean, these are young guys.
Yeah, it just feels very feudal, like the way they always compete. But I mean, that's good. You don't want your team to suck.
Kawhi Leonard was not supposed to be a superstar, and they developed him into it.
That's true. And now he's kind of been floundering,
If Keldon Johnson and DeJounte Murray and Lonnie Walker are really going to be like decent pieces this year, and this is real, then you put them up alongside DeRozan, Aldridge, Patty Mills, and you're starting to and like Jakob Poeltl. That could be a team. Honestly, I did not give this, and Rudy Gay. I did not, and Derek White hasn't even played. Honestly, you could sell me on this team being good. Like when
they probably are going to get in at least the play-in game.
It is insane that it is insane that these players are developing at this level.
But then who's going to I don't know. It's like the Nuggets or the Mavericks.
They're better than the playoff game, it looks like. I mean, these.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, as always, the hard thing for us is development. Like, how do we really track development? That's the thing that's like impossible to really, from the outside, understand. So, all right, do you think the Mavs are going to bounce back?
Yeah, I have to believe they will.
Me too. Last thing here before we wrap up. What do we think about the Hawks?
I guess real quick, because I do have to go. The Hawks, It sucks because they were so promising, so young, so fun, but then all their new European dudes just got hurt. Who are supposed to be European guys are this like.
I don't know if we really need to bring. I don't know if we need to bring the fact that Bogdanovich and Gallinari are from two separate sides of another continent.
You're right. I was just trying to what do they have in common?
Small forwards.
Well, in my head, all these European guys just grew up in like in the snow, and then they just went to this gym, and they're all just like smoking cigarettes and never get hurt. But it sucks because I don't know. Maybe they would be good, but losing all those people. But yet they have all these good young guys that they drafted who hypothetically would be playing now, but maybe they're not that good.
Well, and DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish, who are taking those minutes, are still young, second-year players. But we'll see. I've been a little pessimistic on the Hawks in general. I don't think that they can play defense at a high enough level. But I know, Andrew, you got to go. Time's wrapping up. So this has been another episode of Mr. Sports. Follow me at Xander H. Frost. Follow Andrew at DrewPrint. Andrew, anything else you want to say as we wrap up here?
No, just I have a secret basketball gambling tip. Well, I'll tell you guys on the next episode.
That's a little teaser for you. All right, guys, keep an eye out. Thanks for listening. Peace.